Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. And today I would like to share with you 5 essential and progressive alternate picking exercises for the guitar. These are great for all levels. Even if you're an advanced guitar player, you'll find something to sink your teeth into. And if you're a beginner or intermediate, these are absolutely must-know exercises. These are all taken from my book on alternate picking, which I'll link below if you want to check it out. There's plenty more exercises in there. But even if you don't, these 5 will give you plenty to work with. A couple of very quick things before we begin. I assume you already have your own way of holding the pick and that you're happy with it. If you would like to see how I do it, first of all, there will be close-ups of every exercise. Plus, I'm going to link this very short video up here where you can see exactly how I do it. In case you're not 100% there, you can check that out. Second, this video is all about clarity, so I won't be shredding like crazy. I'm actually gonna play every exercise twice at a slow tempo and then a bit faster. Nothing extreme though. If you want extreme and if you want to shred, check out this video. I'll show you a very cool exercise you can do and we'll go crazy there, okay? But for today, these are the 5 exercises. Let's begin. Our first exercise is something we all know we should do, but very few of us actually sit down and practice it. As a matter of fact, if you're one of my students, and I know some of you watching are, you've done this, and there are many separate configurations of this, but we're going to keep it simple today with just one of them. Still extremely useful. And the idea is to play on only one open string. We're going to take this hand completely out of the picture and focus on the pick. What I want you to do is start on the first string and just play downstroke and upstrokes on this one string. In the exercise I'll demonstrate shortly, I'm playing 16 times each string from the 1st to the 6th and back down to the 1st. And here's the things I want you to keep in mind. First of all, we're going to try to establish a technique that works on every string. So if I'm playing on the 1st string, but when I go to the 6th, I'm like this is a different technique. Reversely, if I start on the 6th string, all cool, but when I work my way down to the 1st string, I do this with my wrist, for example, this technique will have to be extremely different from this one in order to get a sound. So what we want to try to establish a single technique for all strings. My brief suggestion here, use maybe the pickup or maybe the neck, something vertical as a line you follow. So if I'm playing the 1st string, let's say I stay right behind the pickup. When I work my way to the other strings, I want to stay at the same spot. Right? That way I can keep a consistent technique throughout all the strings. The other thing we want to shoot for is a good sound. That means a full sound with the pick. A blooming sound when you hit the note, you hear the attack and then the note comes in. Another thing is both downstrokes and upstrokes should sound the same. So don't do this. Like that, right? We want even sound. As a matter of fact, if you close your eyes, you shouldn't be able to tell if I'm playing downstrokes or upstrokes. And finally, we want to also stay in time. So in the close-ups, I will not have a metronome so you can hear everything clearly, but definitely by all means, practice with a metronome because tempo is an expression of proper technique. If you don't have control of your pick or your hand or your fingers, it's really hard to play in time. Depending on your current level, you might want to stay longer on each string. So instead of playing 16 times, you can play 32 or 64. And just spend time on a single string to get a feel for it. But if you get more and more advanced, you can spend less time on each string, maybe do it only 8 times. Like that, or maybe 4, or 2, or even 1. Okay, let me show it to you from close-up. For exercise number 2, we're still going to focus on one string, but now we're going to add the left hand to the mix, and we're going to play a very common combination of fingers. You'll find this in many scales. It's the first finger. I'm going to use it on the 5th fret of the 3rd string, and then the 6th fret with the 2nd finger, and the 8th fret with the pinky. These are the 3 notes we're going to use, but instead of using them just like that, we're going to create a little pattern. In the book you'll find many of them, but this is probably my favorite, and it goes like this. It's 5, 8, 6, 8. As far as the fingers are concerned, it's 1, 4, 2, 4. Now this looks easier than it is to play it because it's really a workout for your little finger. And in this exercise we want to keep all the things we learned in the previous one, but now we're going to add the problem of coordination. And coordination becomes more difficult when you have 2 hands, because unless they're absolutely in sync, any slight problem on any of the hands will come to light. Because if you're only playing legato and you're a bit off, it's probably okay. And if you're a bit off with your picking, when you play your open strings, you're also kind of okay. But when you mix them together, the chance that all these little variations in time are exactly the same and you still can produce a sound, they're very slim. So now it becomes very important that you start focusing on controlling the exact moment the picking happens with this hand and the fingers lay on the fretboard. As you speed up, you'll notice this becomes more and more important. So keep everything at an even tempo, get a good sound, upstrokes and downstrokes should sound the same, and let's add the coordination. Let me show this to you from close-up. If you want to make things even harder for yourself, here's a little variation you can try. Instead of using fingers 1, 2, and 4, try with 1, 3, and 4 like this. You can curse at me in the comments. Now for exercise 3, we're going to take advantage of the fact that we can now coordinate both hands and make it just a little more difficult by doing it over 2 strings. So the main idea here is that we play 3 notes on a string and 3 notes on the next. And we're strictly alternate picking, which means I'm going to go down, up, down, and the next string down, I will have to start with an upstroke. Up, down, up. That's the pattern. Again, everything that we did before, you have to keep in mind. It becomes a bit harder now to get there right on time and to coordinate this, because we also want it to sound beautiful. No noise, no extra rattle, and so we have to make sure that both hands happen at exactly the same time. Okay, now we're going to actually add a little something to this exercise. That's a bit too easy. So what I want you to do is go over the whole scale of C major. That's all natural notes, 1 note at a time, over the 2 strings. Now I don't know how many frets you have. I only got 22 on this guitar, so that's where I'll stop. Let me show it to you again from close-up, slowly, and then a little bit faster. If you work hard enough on this 3rd exercise, you'll see an amazing improvement in your coordination between both hands and also your agility on the instrument. Then of course you can take it further. You can try different scales. Certainly you can go in different directions. And one thing you should do is practice it on different sets of strings. So maybe try... That's C major, but let's say I want to play C Lydian, then you have to adjust it. And that's kind of the idea. For exercise number 4, we're going to go back to all strings, but now we're going to play them in a bit of a different way. We're going to use a very simple combination of all 4 fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do it here on the 5th fret, so 5, 6, 7, 8. And you might remember this from another video. As a matter of fact, I link it here because there I will show you 24 different combinations of fingers. Permutations is what they're called. So you can certainly try all of them with this exercise I'm about to show you. So here's 23 extra exercises for you. But instead of playing it the good old way, which means all fingers on the same string, we're actually going to alternate between two strings at a time, like this. We're going to play the first note on the 6th string, the second note on the 5th, the third note on the 6th, and the 4th on the 5th. Always alternating, so I'm still going down, up, down, up. Now we're going to move down to the next set of strings, and the next, and the next, like that, right? Always alternating, and once I'm here on the 8th fret, I'll work my way back. I'm still alternating, so it's still down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now this takes everything we learned from before, except for the horizontal movement, and condenses it into one exercise. You have to be very relaxed. Also, when you change strings, unless you've mastered the technique of using the same position for each string, you start getting mixed up like this. You see this hand moves a lot now because I'm trying to chase every string. You don't want to do that. You want to glide to the strings in a very natural way. Stay as relaxed as possible. I'm going to demonstrate at the usual tempo. You don't have to play that fast. If even the lowest speed is too fast for you, you can certainly just play like this. And you can do it even without a metronome, just trying to find that balance between both hands. Finally, the coordination required to do this is a bit more, because every hit with the pick has to travel to the next string down. So you'll find that exacerbates the problem that we had with this exercise, where we change strings. So all in all, it's a great little exercise. And if you use these 24 combinations, you'll have plenty to work with. Let me show it to you from close up. All these 4 exercises, no matter how hard they can get, they still follow a very clear pattern. We are always kind of doing the same thing. And so for the last exercise, exercise 5, we're going to try to break that up a little by playing an arpeggio with alternate picking. And not even an arpeggio with only one note per string. We're actually going to mix it up. And the way to do it is very simply to, instead of playing a triad, we're going to play a little bit of more complex chord called the major 7th chord. And just by adding that B is going to screw the whole thing up. We're going to play the notes of a C major 7th arpeggio, which are C, E, G, B. We're just going to find them anywhere we can. And here's what it sounds like. We have a B and a C on the 6th string. Sorry. E and G on the 5th, and then B and C again on the 4th, and then only one note on the 3rd string, the E, only one note on the 2nd, which is the G, and then again 2 notes on the 1st string, the B and the C. When I put it all together, you'll see that this hand is doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You can see that I can never fall into a pattern because it gets broken really quick. This is pretty comfortable, right? 2 per string, but now I have to downstroke here, upstroke here, and 2 more on the 1st. And then work my way back, always using alternate. Of course, you can try this with any arpeggio. Instead of using a major 7th, you can try with a dominant 7. And you get these strange patterns, and things get even more complicated. And that's your 5 essential alternate picking exercises. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new today. If you did, maybe consider liking and subscribing. We kind of have to play the algorithm game, and it really helps me a lot. But for me personally, I would really love for you to use the comments below. I love reading and replying to all the comments, so keep them coming. If you'd like to check out the book again, it's linked below. No matter what you do though, I'll see you next week. Oh, by the way, check out this video if you want to go real crazy with the pick. This is going to drive you nuts. See you very soon. Bye-bye.